Hello, my party people. I'm Wendy, your host. Welcome to this Drupology podcast. Um, yeah, I just really want to say a huge thank you again to everyone that listens. I just posted on my story, like the amount of feedback that I get from this is amazing. It's beautiful, and I love that it's helping you. It was always designed in my imagination to support you when you're getting ready for work, wanting to just get in that zone. I know that's an important time, like, when you're done with the day, you've done your things. Obviously I'm big on like a practice outside of work. So we're not just hitting the field, you know, unpracticed. There's so many things we can do outside of work. But yeah, if this is supporting you in your work routine, then I'm so happy for that, because I had a strong work routine and I live, and yeah, I just think it's just so important. So anyway, yes, thank you for being here and loving the feedback. And so, okay, so this episode I've actually mapped out. If you can say, sometimes I just riff on things, and I'm going to riff on this, but it's also things that are really coming up lately with the people that I'm working with. Not only in the industry academy, but also my one-on-ones. It's so interesting. There's usually a thread, like there's a theme, and it can be put down to so many things. But let's dive into it to see if any of this feels real for you at the moment. And so I want to start off with feeling like you're in a bit of a rut. You're in a rut, or slash, if you're not in a rut, another thing that's sort of similar, but it can come up with usually more experienced dancers, is just like autopiloting. You're autopiloting, you're doing your thing, you know the things that work, you're getting similar outcomes, and it's like, what can I shake up to wake up? What can I do? And then back to the rut thing, which is like you're just not feeling like going into work. It's like work feels like work. Shock horror. Work is work. How funny is that? Anyway, I love that. So, okay, so there's a few things. I just want to give some practical points here that can help with ruts or comfort zones, is what I would put it down to, is like just autopiloting, comfort zone. Like, we know we can make money off that. We know there's like this dichotomy. It's like, we know we can make money doing the things that we know that work, but we secretly want to make more money, but we're secretly also not doing anything different. So what does that look like? Okay. And there's a few things that we can do outside of work, like I mentioned, that can really help. So it's gratitude. I know this might sound cliche or whatever, but looking back and actually looking at, I'm talking about a practical list. I'm talking about writing down the things that you love and appreciate about your job, your career, your dancing, your chosen vocation. What are the things that you love and appreciate about it? And there's just so many that come to mind. I'm asking you to get to 10. 10 can be a little stretch. It's not a big stretch. 20 is a stretch. 5 is easy. I love the time freedom. I love the money that it brings. I love the interaction with people. Like, there's just a few things that come up. Like, I love the freedom to just dress up and like express myself. Let's get to 10. 10's lukewarm. 20, if you're feeling a little bit naughty, let's get to 20. So there's one practical thing that I really want to put out there. This has been live for so many people I'm working with at the moment. Just that appreciation again of like, you know, we can get so jaded. Like, just saying 2K. I was like, it's okay, it's a little bit draining, it's a little bit boring, blah, 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 all the things. It's like, let's get back to on track and like connected to ourselves and on the path. So anyway, everything I'm going to talk about right now is going to be linked to this. I feel like my eyelid looks really weird in this video. You know what that is? It's folding weirdly. Anyway, whatever. So, yes, that's what I've written. Literally get in the vibe of this. Get in the vibe of what you love and appreciate about the job, because that's your antidote. Your antidote is always the opposite of what we're going through. So when we're like, oh, I'm going to feel tired, I'm not going to be rested, like my feet hurt, like my God, you know, all these things, like I'm so over it, hearing another idiot say something, blah, 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 blah. It's like, let's go back to gratitude. It is an antidote. And it's interesting because obviously last week I had Dan Thomas on, who, you know, talked about like the pieces in the puzzle and talked about, cool, so you're feeling this, so let's do this. And a lot of the time it's just gratitude, but it's like reminding yourself of like, oh, that is a thing that I can do, and it's so simple, and it's actually available to me, and it's free, and it's easy. And it's like, look back at what you're grateful for with work. Why are you doing it? Like, what lights you up? You know, what does it for you? It's different for every person. Some people, it might be like, you know, I love the self-expression, or some people might be like, I love the free flow of cash, or like whatever it is. But just tune back into that. I guarantee, I mean, I shouldn't probably make guarantees, I don't know, but for myself, I can guarantee for myself when I guarantee, well, this is what's missing, this is what I want, this is what I want to create, and then these are the things that I need to remind myself of. They're going to help push you through. So we're always looking for motivation, because motivation changes everything. Motivation is the key to persisting, believing in yourself, all of the things. So I do digress. So let's go on with this point. This is a bit isolated and different, but this came up in the Industry Academy. And so it's like the fun thing to do is to look at your salary calculator. Now, a salary calculator, if you Google it, okay, I'm in Australia, just for anyone that's listening. I'm not sure about other countries, I don't know. But if you type in, for example, $1 million salary after tax, what your weekly take home is. In Australia, a weekly take home after tax paycheck, $1 million job, is about 10,000 something. If you look at it and it's like $500,000 salary, I mean, look at jobs that are offering 500K. Have you looked on job offerings lately? It's interesting, so interesting. If this helps you get motivated, then it's a good tool. I'm only sharing these things because these are things that motivate me, have helped motivate others, and it's not for everybody, I get that. But if it motivates you, then it motivates you. So 500K, $500,000 salary after the tax is about 5,600. So having a look at what jobs offer that, what you know, all the things. It's very interesting to do your own research and just have a little look. I've been doing a lot of work lately on my clients wanting to buy homes, wanting to set up, you know, a portfolio. Really is like, cool, I'm getting the momentum with making more wealth, but then what, you know? It's kind of a different ball game when it's like, I've got the holidays, I've got the Louis Vuitton bags, I've got the Chanel, fucking whatever, you know, those things. A different vibe to like what's something that's more longevity. And that's something that's, yeah, been coming up a lot. And I love that because that's something I'm so passionate about. It's like, it's juicy as fuck. It's interesting. And it's like, we need to prepare for that. There's so many ways we can do that. So I've been doing a lot of coaching around that lately, which is really fun and exciting. So basically, what did I write? Okay, yeah. So yeah, fun thing, just look at the salary thing, and then hype opportunity prep for life. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you want to get? Your why. So I've got a previous podcast episode about your why, and you know what? Like, this came up recently, and also I can relate. Like, we might not know our why. It's same as when you finish high school and you're like, what do you want to do for the rest of life? It's like, fuck off. Like, most people have minimum of 5 careers in their life. So I'm not choosing something, but I will do what interests me. And Dan Thomas last week on my podcast episode, you know, talked about the 20-year projection and like what you want to create, because there's so many different ways to build wealth. For me, what I've found has been really helpful is like looking at my mental health and also looking at property. So they're two things that I would say in my strip of money I've invested heavily in, is my mental health coaching. I love mentorship. I love just learning from other people. Obviously, that's why I'm so passionate about doing this. But also I love, you know, safety and security and owning my own home and being able to play with it and like, you know, sink money into that adds value. It's a different kettle of fish, but like that, in saying that, that was never always clear for me at all. Definitely a lot through my career. And so it's like sometimes, so I had a really good chat during one of the calls that I've had this week about, you know, what if what if at the moment you're just interested in betting your own roles? And I think that is so healthy. I think that is amazing, because if that's you versus you, that's got not anything to do with anyone else. But if you can adhere to that as a healthy you versus you situation, then that's something I can relate to for a long time. I didn't know I wanted to do so many things that I'm doing now, fast forwarding, which is weird to think about. But what I did know was I wanted to see my limits and I wanted to push them. And I was a very much me versus me situation, because it puts your blinkers on. You're not comparing yourself, you're not doubting yourself, you're backing yourself. And you know what? Right now, sitting here, I can so wholeheartedly say that I love and appreciate so much the version of me that was like me versus me. You know, I never knew or thought that I never was able to think ahead. So just knowing that like I'm doing something, I'm pushing myself, entertaining myself, you know, like all these, obviously other people, but you know, like the thing it's just so important to be like, okay, we don't need to have the answers, but when it's like that saying, may make hay when the sun shines, is super fun, super cool. And we can set our own challenges, so I love that. Last week's episode, Dame Thomas mentioned that 20-year vision. It's like, I love that. But sometimes, again, it's hard to know what that looks like. But it's just an accumulation of data, working out what we do want, what we don't want, things like that. It becomes more and more clear. I can't believe I'm saying this as someone that's turning 40 this year. So bizarre. But anyway, it does, it accumulates, and you start to just like paint a picture of more like, what do I want and what do I not want in my life? It can be slow, it can be fast, but it's just something to think about, and if it's not, the vision's not there, that's okay. It's just like, cool, I've got the drive right now. I'm not sure where it's heading, but I know it's heading to my future self. That's still the direction. So I just want to put that out there. What else have I got here? Yeah, it's hard to do, fun of it. Slowly we learn little bit by little bit about ourselves and what we value. Yeah. So it's just all a journey, obviously. It's getting philosophical, but as you know, I find stripping philosophical. It is the opportunity to create. It's just a creative space in so many ways. I'm sure you can all feel that in your own way. It's so creative in so many ways. There's one more thing I wanted to mention, but not sure. As I always say, it will come to me if it needs to. I'll write a post if I need to. But I feel this is full circle. So if you're listening to this heading into work, I hope that this has motivated you. You've taken something from it. That's what it's all about. And this is your invitation to really think about the whole you versus you situation and just getting in the vibe of like what you love and appreciate about this job. Really feel it. What do you love and appreciate? Like, get to the point of like, fuck, yes. If that feels too much, go back to one of my older episodes where I talk about like, we on a slower night, like we might G ourselves up so much on a slow night. We're like, fuck yeah. And it's like, no one's in there. Cool. There's other ways that you can direct your energy. But if you get in there and you're feeling it, stay grounded. Don't get top heavy. Stay grounded. Enjoy yourself. And you've absolutely fucking got this. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to see you next week.